Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Weekdays at Bernie segment tonight. Apparently, NBC plans to replace Jay Leno with Jimmy Fallon next year, not this year, next year. The media is hammering Leno, even though he continues to win the late-night ratings race. Also, Today's Show star Matt Lauer continues to be criticized in the press for that program's slipping ratings and the Ann Curry firing. Joining us now from Miami, the purveyor, BernardGoldberg.com. Mr. Goldberg, so let's take Lauer first. Do you think this is a fair situation?
Well, here's what I think. There are a certain number of people out there, actually a lot of people, who like gossip, who like to know what's going on behind the scenes, and who wonder if Matt Lauer was the reason that Ann Curry got pushed out and broke up the family. And by the way, if anybody out there thinks the NBC Today Show people are part of a family, you are really, really naive. But so in that sense, it's legitimate entertainment news, not for me, but I don't care. The much bigger issue, Bill, is that there are more and more, I'll put the word in quotation marks, journalists out there who like to bring down people in the media who have achieved success and make money. So, given the internet, and this is where a lot of this is coming from, there are people on the internet who have virtually no power. They make very little money. And if they could take a shot at a guy making $25 million, which is more than they'll make in the next 100 years, and this is how they derive their power, they're going to do it. It's something relatively new, and it's not especially attractive.
No. I believe every famous and wealthy person in the country is a target now for exactly what you said. But I think the mainstream media enables this, and I'm going to get to that in a moment, but I want to stay on Lauer for a minute. What people need to understand is before a major talent is moved off a program, there's a lot of research done by the company.
Right.
They don't, it's not a whim, all right? They research people, they find out who likes who's watching whom. It's a scientific decision that's made. I know Lauer for a lot of years. We both worked local news in New York way, way back. And I'm not a buddy of his or a pal of his, but I talk to him from time to time. He never mentioned any disenchantment with Ann Curry at all. So I think when this broke, I saw it just as a pure, let's get Matt Lauer play because Matt Lauer is making a lot of money. That's all it was. And the liberal press joins in, even though Matt Lauer is a liberal. They don't care. He's making a lot of money, so let's go get him.
Right. It would have been interesting to read a few more stories about whether Ann Curry was any good at what she did.
Well,
I know you're
the
not supposed to say that.
Or the research.
Yeah, well, the research that showed that there were problems there.
Whether she was popular or not among, because anecdotal evidence means nothing. When did it change? See, you know, Cronkite, when he was in the chair, Arthur Godfrey, all of these people, the early icons, press never went after them. But somewhere it's changed. So now everybody's a target.
Yeah, I think that's a perceptive observation. Look, in the old days, there was Walter Winchell and Luella Parsons and even Rona Barrett, and they had tremendous power. They could ruin careers, but they stuck to Hollywood. They stuck to Hollywood. What's happened since those days is we have an internet. We have cable news. Both of these things, for whatever good they do, they also polarize the culture. And when you have people on the internet, what's happened since those days, especially with the internet, is that now being ironic, which is a nice way of saying being sarcastic or being nasty, being ironic has value. Being ironic is important. So if somebody does a piece, and by the way, you're a target just like these other guys.
The biggest.
If somebody does a piece about you or one of these other people with a big name and a big following, then somebody else has to be snarkier than the first person.
And then it just feeds on itself.
That's right.
Right. Okay, Leno. NBC has always had a disrespectful relationship with Leno, I think. He makes them a lot of money. He's still really the highest ratings getter, but they're treating him shabbily, I think. If it were me, I'd be angry. How do you see Leno?
Well, in terms of the media, I think one of the reasons the media is not enamored with Jay Leno is that a big part of his audience is in middle America. And elites, whether they're in the media or not, look down their long elitist noses at people in middle America. They think middle America is a barren desert populated by hayseeds. And if Leno appeals to those people, then
yeah, because
we
Leno
can't
beats
like-
Letterman,
we
but
can't like
Letterman
Jay
is
Leno.
treated much better by the mainstream media than
Yes,
Leno.
because
He's cool.
one of the most important traits. What did you say just then?
Letterman is cool to them.
Exactly. That's exactly the word I was going to use. That is the most important trait these days, or at least seemingly is. If you're cool and hip. So Leno is not seen as that. Letterman is. And the people who take down people like Leno, they want to see themselves as cool and hip. So if you take down the guy who appeals to middle America, or at least get snarky with the guy who appeals to middle America, that makes you in some way cooler and hipper.
All right, NBC better be careful with the Leno deal, though. A lot of money that they could lose there. But, hey, maybe they have research on Jay that we don't know about. Thanks, Bernie.